Okay, concept number 3 is all about conditional probability. Concept number 3, which we touched a little bit on in concept number 2. So hopefully this video it'll make a little bit more sense since we're spending a little bit more time on it. So first things first, again, we got some vocabulary we gotta get out of the way. So, conditional probability, which again, we talked about a little bit in concept number 2, which makes me think I did these out of order, but that's okay. Conditional probability is a condition that may limit the sample space for an event. So if you think back to concept number 2, when we picked a diamond out of a deck of cards and didn't put it back, that changes or limits the sample space for the second event for picking another diamond. So that's how conditional probability works, is you take something away or you change the sample space. Okay, so you can write conditional probability using the notation probability of B given A. So, which we wrote down. Read the probability of event B given event A, which we have done before. So, the formula for conditional probability, which would have been good for me to teach you, but again, it doesn't matter. We're all doing the same thing. So, for any two events, A and B from a sample space with probability of A not equal to 0, which means A is possible, the probability of B given A is equal to the probability that A and B both happen, remember this notation, A and B, over the probability of A. Okay? That's how you find conditional probability. That's the formula. So, a two-way table down here is a useful way to organize data that can be categorized by two variables. So in this table, we have two different variables. We have fiction and nonfiction, and paperback and hardcover. So types of cover versus genre. Two different variables, okay? This is called a two-way table because it goes this way and this way. That's why it's called two ways. So, joint relative frequency. I write too big, but that's okay. The values in each category, so each category divided by the total number of values in a two-way table. So each little square here is called a category. So 24 is the category of paperback fiction. So if I wanted to figure out the joint relative frequency of that, I would divide 24 by the total number of books that I have. Okay? So marginal relative frequency. These sound like really complicated terms, but they're not. They just mean certain things. Is the sum of all the joint relative frequencies in each row and column of a two-way table. So what this means is, move this up so you can see. If I were to find for each category, in this table there's 4 categories, the joint relative frequency, meaning divide 24 by the total number of books, and I would get this joint relative frequency here. Okay, I would do the same thing for each of these categories. Marginal relative frequency means I take those joint relative frequencies and I add them up. I add them up column-wise, and I add them up row-wise. So where it says total is marginal relative frequency. Okay, so we're going to be doing a couple of examples with that. So that's where I'm going to end this video, and I'll meet you over here at number 1.